friends. I'm a little bit late tonight. Sorry about that. Hold on just a second. We are getting things going. Hey, baby.
You all right?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
We're on YouTube. What's on my shoulder?
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking for? The lid's over here. Sorry, YouTube. I should have waited until I was ready. Hi, Courtney. Okay. Hello. Okay. We're going live on Facebook now. Sorry, YouTube got the first round this time. Okay. Here we go. All right. So, happy Tuesday. You found yourself an online success. It's exciting. I'm pretty excited about tonight. I realize
Just isn't getting close tonight, I guess.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Lucy's already asleep. So I'm excited, but I've also heard a lot of fear. Y'all are scared. I think that this might be our lowest watched video ever because I think some of you maybe told your team members not to watch because you didn't want them to not work. And if so, I get it. But do you trust me or do you trust me? Trust me. So tonight we are talking about how and when and why you take a break and how you do it well. And this might not be what you want to hear. This is not, it's time to take a break. And so you're just taking a break. We'll get to that. Don't you worry. So I want to really quickly though, well, for one, introduce myself. My name is Allison Dahlke. If this is your first time here, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We go live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central for Online Steps to Success, which is what you have found yourself at. And our goal at Online Steps to Success is to help you dream big, work smart, make a profit, and change your world and the world of the people, the world of the people around you. I don't know. You know what I mean? We believe that direct sales can do that. We believe that your business is powerful and mighty. And yeah, so I'm crazy passionate about, for one, the direct sales industry, also about Cincy. We've been with Cincy for the past 11 years. And I love my job. And I love my job because I have learned how to take breaks. So it's interesting. Tonight's topic is all about taking healthy breaks from your business and how you do that and why you do that and all those things. And so many of you said that's what you wanted to hear about. And then so many of you freaked out on me because you thought maybe I was going to tell your teams just to not work. Don't you worry. That's not what I'm going to tell you. We're going to talk about it all tonight. Listen, this really isn't for everybody. This is for people tonight specifically is really for those of you running a business. If you are looking at your Cincy business as a business, if you're running it to make a profit, if you are setting goals, tracking goals, you're intentionally growing all the time, that's who this is for. It's not for those of you necessarily that are doing this for a hobby, because if you're doing this for a hobby, you probably don't need a healthy break. Hey, baby, can you turn Paw Patrol off? She's asleep. I just hear Paw Patrol in the background, and it's annoying to me. So know that this is not for everybody. We're going to talk about, what the heck? There are two very, oh, I know how to turn that off. What's that? There are two very specific types of people that this is for. We're going to look at two ways that you run your business, either full-time or part-time. And we're going to talk about two different ways you take a break and what that looks like. Again, if this is like your fun thing that you're doing, this is like your extra thing, it's not really like this business thing that you're going all in, you might not need a break. But we're going to talk about how and why you might need a break and who those people are. So I do want to know, How many of you would say I have a break planned? Like I have an intentional, like from this day to this day, I'm kind of not working my business. This is what I'm doing. How many of you would say I kind of have that planned? This is why I don't like broadcasting on my computer. Cannot see your comments. It makes me crazy. I can't see your comments, but they're so daggum delayed. Makes me bonkers. I'm going to look at it on my phone. How about that? I don't know how many of you said that you did. I asked you a question, and then I can't even see what you're saying. Okay, it's on silent. Great. How many of you would say on the flip side of that, I would love to take some time off, but I am afraid my business is going to fall apart? If that's true for you, I'm afraid my team's going to lose it. I'm afraid my customers are going to need stuff and I'm going to be a crappy consultant. How many of you would say I want to take time off, but I don't know how? I really still can't see comments. Thanks, Allison. Allison reminded me to watch my feed count. Put a piece of paper over it. That is a good idea. Your daggum comments aren't live. It's real annoying. That's fine. So it's like I see your comments, and then I don't. And then I don't. I see them late. It's really annoying. Allison, thanks for the reminder. If you weren't here last week, we talked about mindset and negativity and how all of those things can take it over. Jack says, I've got to get trip points, so I'm not taking off after the 17th, but I'm taking off a week at Christmas. That's taking off. Okay. I did put a piece of tape over where my count is because we talked about negative mindset and it's important. So first of all, here's what I want to say. And this is what I need you to understand. This is why I'm talking about this. First of all, my paycheck relies solely, for the most part, on the efforts of other people, people that I have trained and built up and worked with. And so everything that they do determines how much money I make or how little money I make, right? So I would be crazy to tell people to take a break if I didn't think it was what was necessary. So again, this break is not for everybody, and it looks different for every person. We're going to talk about that. This is why I think it's so important, though. I have watched too many people walk away from very successful direct sales businesses because they were burnt out, because they didn't learn how to rest. They didn't learn how to shut it off. They didn't learn how to turn it off. Now, it's interesting. Different people's personalities need different things. As an introvert, I'm an INFJ on Myers-Briggs, if you know what that is. I'm a 1 on the Enneagram, if you know what that is. But I'm a strong introvert, and I am a processor. So I have to think things through, and I'm all about learning new things. So it gets to a point in my business where I get overwhelmed and where I just need a break. And I will tell you that my business is stronger, my team is stronger, my ability to lead is stronger because I have learned how to rest and fully rest. It's incredibly important. So here's what this looks like. Let's talk about 2 different types of people. So if you know of a person that this pertains to, this would be somebody that you would tag. I said it in the beginning, this is not for everybody. And I promise you that taking a break will not cause you to lose your business. It will not. It might actually make it so much more fruitful. So one of the reasons I think breaks are necessary in this business, if you are full-time or part-time running this as a business, this is so key. This is so key. Running it as a business. One of the reasons I think a break is necessary is because there really is no off. right? So even if you have business hours, even if you say this time to this time is when I work, your phone dings, social media is a thing. All of the things are things. You have team to lead, you have customers to care for. All of the things are things always. If you were to work in a job, a corporate job where you had a boss, traditionally you would have at least 2 weeks off a year. 2 weeks off. Tell me the last time you took 2 weeks off and you did not think about your business, or you did not follow up with your team or your customers or anything like that. I would venture to say that some of you have never, ever fully done that. Even when you're on an incentive trip, even when you are on vacation, quote unquote, right? You're working your business. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's part of this as a lifestyle. It's a gift. It's a cool thing that we can work anywhere, anyhow, all of the things. And it's also a very burdensome thing. So let's talk first about those of you that I would consider part-timers. So this is what I would consider a part-timer. You are running your business as a business, meaning you're setting goals, you're reaching goals, you're growing intentionally, you're tracking the progress that you're making, you're building a team, you might be a leader at this point, but you're part-time, meaning you do something else outside of this to make income. It doesn't really matter how much time you put into your business at this phase, but if you are building a business and you are treating it like a business, did you hear the key word? Treating it like a business, like the business that it is, then you would fall into the part-time category. Now, what does that mean? So you probably need a little bit of a break. Now, here's one thing I need you to understand when I say a break. And I told this to one of my leaders today. When you take a break, you have earned it, and you have done the very hard work to prepare for it. Here's what I want you to understand about a break, quote unquote. It doesn't mean that I'm letting my customers fall through the cracks. It doesn't mean that I'm not taking care of my team. It doesn't mean that I'm not generating sales continually while I'm taking a break. None of that is true. My team is being taken care of. My customers are being taken care of. Taken care of? I said the wrong thing. Orders are being placed. All the things are happening. That happens with prep work. And that prep work is what allows you to take a break. I also think one of the things about a break is some of you have a very unhealthy relationship with your business in that it rules everything. And I love you selling and recruiting and building teams and all the things, but what I don't love it is when you crash and burn and don't get up. And it happens over and over and over again. We have lost incredible leaders because they have crashed and burned because they did not learn how to rest. They didn't learn how to shut it off. So that's why I think this is so stinking vital. Now, if you're part-time, when do you take a break? Why? Which we kind of already talked about why. How long and how? How do I physically do this and everything stays together, right? Those are the things we're going to talk about. And then what's the back to work plan? So we're going to talk about those things for part-timers and for full-timers. And it does look a little bit different, but not totally. So this is for the part-timers. You're growing a business. You are setting goals. This is a business to you. You may just be doing something else. Also, all the things, okay? You have a team, all things. Remember, you don't get to take a break until you've earned it. And when you're taking a break, it's planned, it's intentional, and things are still happening without you. I made a post the other day about automation. And a lot of you asked me about it, and I think it's something we're going to talk a lot about next year. Automation is basically anything that we can do the work for one time or pre-schedule that happens automatically, right? So it lets us take our hands off the wheel just a little bit for a time being. So, hold on, I'm getting off track. I'm going to go back to that. Let's talk about when. If you are a part-timer, when. So a couple things. If you are working towards earning an incentive trip, when is going to matter. I When the last incentive trip was announced, Brian and I got on and talked about, gave you some tips for earning the incentive trip. And our goal is always to earn it in 5 months, which means we need to have it earned by the end of the month. So everything that my break entails means I am planning on having all of my points by the end of December. Now, some of you may be in a position where that's not going to happen. Like, it's going to take all of January for it to happen, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you can't still take a break. You absolutely can. So when you take a break is going to be crucial. It's going to matter. So Jacqueline mentioned she takes a week break over Christmas. I'm also going to tell you how long of a break I take when we talk about full-timers in a minute, and why I take such a long break and how I manage that. So if you are a part-timer working to earn a trip, you have a team, when you take a break will matter. Christmas cutoff for shipping delivery for the US is on the 17th. Bring Back My Bar bundles are available to order on the 18th. So I am actually working all the way through the 20th this year. And my last day of Scentsy work is on the 20th. And then I will take 3.5 weeks off. So if you are a part-timer, what should that look like for you? Honestly, it really depends on you and your schedule. It depends on what parties you have going. It depends on what you've got going on with your team. And it depends on how much prep work you can do beforehand if you decide you want to take a break. How long should you take? Also, it really depends on the person. Now, listen, this break is not a I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to work break. This is a health break that's necessary for your mind and your creativity and your leadership to continue to develop. People who do not take adequate breaks usually stall out, burn out, and do not recover. And it may not be happening right now, but it will probably happen eventually. So that's why the break is important. If it were me, if I were a part-timer, from the beginning, when I only did this part-time for 1 year. And after that, this was my job. This was my job. It is our income. It is all the things. But I also learned very quickly that I get tired and I get burnt out. And when you're giving your all to something, it can become overwhelming. So I have always taken a week off at Christmas, always. And for most of you, that's probably sufficient. You're going to schedule it around your travel. You're going to schedule it around your family events. You're going to schedule it around your spouse's schedule and what they have going on. But my recommendation to you is the how long and when is very, very intentional. So if you know you want to take a break all the way through the 31st, what does that mean? You have to be signed, sealed, delivered, done. Like done with December, like super happy with your PRV. And how do you do that? You bust your hiney. Like you work your tail off to get the PRV that you want, to get the sales that you want to have, to make sure your team is set up before you go into rest mode. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Hi, Love Bug.
How can you see me? Because you can see him there.
Yeah, because I could see you in there.
I was trying to sneak up to you.
Did you take a shower?
My dad said I can.
You
can just skip.
Your dad said you could skip.
Alright, now keep doing that.
Okay. Oh my gracious, that's too funny. Anyways, as I was saying, your time off has to be incredibly intentional, incredibly planned, and incredibly prepared for. Intentional, planned, and prepared for. Not just planned on what you're doing after, but how are you getting there in the first place? It means you work your freaking hiney off. That's part of it. Okay? Let's just be honest. You're working your tail off. Now, some of you would say, oh, but what about all the people who have Christmas money? And oh, what about all the people who need? Okay, we're going to talk about that. So the when and the how long really, really depends on you. Depends on your schedule, depends on what you have going on in your life. The how long kind of depends on where your heart's at, depends on how burnt out you are, but it cannot happen. It can't happen unless you have planned for it, prepared for it, and are super intentional about when it happens, okay? So how do you make it happen? Let's say you take a week off. Just because you're taking a week off doesn't mean that you have to go radio silent. There are so many amazing things when it comes to automation now that will help you run your business well. So I use an email provider called MailChimp that it is like, I don't even know. I can't talk. I'm so excited about it. Like, I've been using MailChimp for a long time, but I haven't been using it right for a long time. My team is getting a weekly email the entire time I'm on break. My customers are getting a weekly email the entire time I'm on break. I also over-communicate the fact that I'm taking a break and why. Here's the crazy thing. I will continue to have sales through the end of December. I will continue to have sales in the beginning of January because of the work that I'm doing right now to prepare for the break that I'm taking. So much of it is happening via email. That's because I've chosen to work on my email list, build my email list, connect with my customers that way, and it's been a gift. If you have done something similar, but so much of it happens on social media, then you pre-plan and you pre-post schedule as much as you possibly can before you take your break. So you're not going radio silent. Are you going to be able to comment and communicate on everything? Maybe not. But here's the way it works for me. I do a couple things. So I do some specials for my customers, all communicated via email, in their weekly email that comes out. And it's almost to the point now where they know that I'm taking a break and they're excited about the specials I do when I take a break. I only take online orders for the break period that I'm on, and they know it. Yes, they have to pay shipping. Even when they live next door to me, they know, they understand. Don't text me a question about Scentsy. Do not ask me for light bulbs, all the things, because they know that I will take care of them, and I always do take care of them, and I will continue to take care of them, but I'm asking them to order online. Some of you are thinking, it'll never work. My customers will never order online, blah, 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 blah. You can train your customers to do whatever you need them to do. Online ordering now is one of the easiest, simplest. People are so used to it. Heck, my freaking neighbor, I mean, she lives 5 houses from me. She ordered online the other day, and I was like, Angie, I told you I could have put that on my order and got you free shipping. I don't care. It's just easier if I go online and order. I mean, people are willing to do it. Stop having a negative mindset about what people won't do. If you believe they won't, they won't. If you train them to do it, they will. So one of the ways that I incentivize my customers to order online is I always have a special over that time frame. So I will have an after Christmas special. It will be communicated via email. That means if they place an online order of a certain amount or more, then they get this fun, special New Year's gift in the mail. Because I'm a cool consultant like that, right? And I truly cherish my customers. So some of you are like, oh, I just can't do it. Listen, I don't want your excuses. Business is an investment. And if you need the time to take a break, it might cost you a little bit of cash. We call that an investment in your business, right? In a way that you're rewarding your customers. So I set up an online party. I tell them what the party is. I put the link right in the emails that's going out. They get this, they know what the fun gift that they're getting is when they order online. And I'm also incentivizing them to share, right? So the same is true for January. January, Bring Back My Bar launches. So I already have emails scheduled. Well, we're scheduling them now. They're in the process of being scheduled to everybody who ever has, you know, all my French kiss lovers, all my, I can't remember, Dark Harbor, all the things that are coming back, right? There are emails scheduled to go out to them so that they know at the beginning of January that Bring Back My Bar is happening. Do you see the break that I'm taking? The break I'm taking is happening because I'm busting my hiney to get a lot of work done now so that when January comes, I'm still working, but I'm not. All the work that I did now is paying off then. Does that make sense? Okay. I hope there's MailChimp in heaven too. I don't know what y'all are talking about spending $200 a month then, but I'm trying to catch up on y'all's comments. Okay. Okay, first of all, if you are ordering $200 every 4 months to stay in the game, in just full honesty, this whole entire training is not for you, because you haven't taken the next steps to grow your business. Therefore, you're not doing the things necessary to warrant you investing in it or taking a break. So that's just me being incredibly honest. We want you to have the tools that you need to grow your business past just ordering 200 once every 4 months. And there's a million trainings out there that can help you establish some systems. I want to talk to those of you really quick that are saying like, I'm struggling to get my 200. Here's the deal. You need to pick one thing right now that is going to become your focus for how you're going to build a customer base and grow your sales. Excuses just don't really fly here, because in all honesty, this business will change you if you let it in the best kind of way. But you have to first work on your mindset. And then on top of that, you have to work on finding your people. So we make the mistake sometimes by thinking everybody that I know and love is going to love my product. And that is just not true. And if you are not using social media in the right way, you cannot grow your business online like that. If you're using social media the right way, you can, but you're not just going to intuitively know how to use social media because you watch somebody else post a flyer. That is not how you grow your business. That's not how you grow your following. That's not how you grow your customer base. If social media is the way you want to do it, there are a million resources out there, incredible things you can learn, but you've got to learn how to use online marketing right. Posting things on social media and not knowing how online marketing works is not going to cut it. And you're just going to be frustrated and you're just going to have things to complain about. So my encouragement to you is, one, we want you here. We see you and we want to lift you up. But also you have got to figure out, laser focus in on how am I going to build a customer base and how am I going to market my business, right? So those are the biggest things. Pick one way. I'm going to do it online. I'm going to do it via home parties. I'm going to do it via fundraisers. One way. Stop trying to do 100 things. Stop looking at everything shiny. Pick one way and go with that. And then next year at this time, when your business has grown and you are not even worried about your 200 every month and you are killing it because people love your product and you have found the right people and you are taking care of those people, we're going to have this same conversation again next year. And we're going to talk about you taking a break, and you're going to need a break because you have been running a successful, growing, profitable business. And that's what we want for you. And it is possible, but you have to take the steps and you have to choose to do it. So that was a tough love. I love you. We're here to support you, but I just want to make sure we're all clear. Stop, Joey. Okay. So, yes, mindset is so important. Now, we've been talking about part-time. We've been talking about some ways that you can use it. So MailChimp is free up to a certain number of email subscribers. So if you don't really have an email list right now, and actually MailChimp's not the only one, you guys, there's a lot of other ones. Constant Contact, MailChimp, Mad Mimi. I would say, honestly, I would recommend MailChimp just personally. I've tried those three. There's some more, but I've tried those three, and I think MailChimp is the most intuitive. I think it's the easiest to use, and I think it's priced really, really well. So once you get to a certain number of email, like once your list gets big enough, then you do have to pay for it. But I promise you, email marketing is such a huge, huge thing. It's so important. So once you have decided on how long you're taking off, when you're taking off, and how. So the how is, how am I taking care of my customers? How am I taking care of my team while I'm on a break, however long it is? a week. And when I say take a break, I mean really, like, I don't want you looking at social media. I don't want you thinking about Cincy. I want you taking a break. And I know some of you are like, it's all going to fall apart. It's not, because you're going to do the work beforehand to take care of everything that needs to happen. You're going to pre-plan your social media posts for your team or for your team page or whatever. You're going to schedule some emails. You're going to, whatever it takes for you to automate things, you're going to do those things. That makes sense? Okay. The biggest things you need to consider: how am I taking care of my customers? How am I taking care of my team? So we want your sales to continue to come in. We want your team to continue to stay engaged, unless they're taking a healthy break as well, and that's okay. So all of those things need to be prepared for and planned before you decide it's time for a break, and well communicated. So important. The other thing is, you have to figure out how you're going to come back. What's the comeback day? What does your schedule look like when you come back? Are you doing a power hour? How are you jumping back in? Who are you connecting with? What are the things you're doing? There's got to be a plan when you come back. I talk a lot about how you need to be working 3 months at a time, all the time. So I already have things planned through March for my business. And I'm continuing to evolve that. My social content, it's going to be planned out through March before I take my break, meaning I will know everything that's being shared, everything that I'm planning on sharing. And I know we get a new catalog in March, so I'm not going to know specifically every single thing, right? Because I don't know what's in the new catalog. I wish I did, but I don't. But I have an idea of the things I want to share and the value that I want to bring to my followers and all of that. Hope that makes sense. I also make a big deal out of the day that I come back. It's like you're going back to work. Like, you put your big girl panties on, you have your plan, your schedule, everything is planned out. You know exactly what you're doing, right? And here's what happens when you take a break and you unplug for a while. You will be shocked at the ideas you come up with on your own, at how excited you get to come back to work. Like, seriously, by Christmas delivery cutoff, sometimes I can be so like, oh, I just need a break. Like, I get to that point sometimes because I'm doing so much prep work to take a break that I really do kind of turn everything off. I try to stay away from social media. I have all my content pre-planned. And yes, I realize I'm not engaging, and you know what? It's okay. It is okay. It's so necessary for my soul for me to take that break that it just makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference in the way that I see my business, in the way that I lead, in the ideas that I have. The other thing it does is, you follow other people and you see the things they're doing and the way they're leading and the things they're talking about product about, and they're their ideas, and their ideas are great, but you have really great ideas too. But sometimes we're so overwhelmed with constant consumption that we're not coming up with our own ideas. So the first time that I took a break for a couple weeks, and I really took a break, I got off of social media. I really did. I unplugged from my team. I unplugged from my customers, all well communicated, all intentional and planned. But the first time I did it, the first few days were like, I probably stayed in my jammies all day, and I just never it was just great. It was great. I cooked, I baked, I did all the things all day long, right? It was great. But by the, coming up on the end of those couple weeks, I was so excited about my business. And I had all these brand new ideas. I was like, oh, this would be so fun to do with my customers. Oh, this would be such a fun, this would be a really fun thing to do on my VIP page at the time, which I don't have anymore. This would be a really fun thing to do on social media. I had all these ideas that I had never thought of before, never thought of before. And it was so, so cool to and it happens every year now when I take a break. Usually by the last week before I come back, I'm like a brainstorm fanatic. I'm planning out training for my team. I'm doing content. I'm planning out social posts. And I'm so excited. And if you haven't been so excited in a while, it is time for a planned, communicated, intentional break. Because sometimes we need to rest and unplug so we can work well again. It is amazing what happens and how much more effective you'll be coming back. The other thing you need to consider when coming back is what's happening. So, for instance, I already have Jacqueline and I are doing a team bingo night in January, the week I come back to work. I have a warmer swap already planned, and I'm already communicating it to my customers for January, which they're freaking excited about. So I have all those things. I already have emails scheduled to go out about Bring My Bar. I already have my specials planned, all the things. So when I come back, I know what I'm coming back to. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I want to take a look. I want to touch a little bit on those of you who are full-time. And full-time doesn't mean 40 hours a week. It really doesn't take 40 hours a week to run this business. You can work 40 hours a week. You can work more. Some of you are working far more. But remember, we're always talking about how do we work smarter? How do we be more efficient? How do we get how do we make sure that we're cutting out the fluff and doing the things that are most profitable and most growth generating, right? So full-time just means this is my deal. Like, this is the thing that I do. I don't have another job. I don't have anything else. This is the thing that I do. So if that's you, and that's a lot of you in leadership positions, like, this is the thing you're doing. And especially those of you in leadership positions, I think it's incredibly important for you to take a break. And when I say a break, I mean a break. A break from all of it. From your team, from your customers, from your phone, from social media. I know it sounds scary. I promise things will not fall apart. But again, how many times can I say you don't get to take a break until you've earned it? You don't get to take a break until you've done the work. You don't get to take a break unless it's planned, unless it's intentional, unless you have things prepared to happen while you're breaking, right? It's the beautiful thing about this business. It's a beautiful thing about online, is that there is so much that can happen while you are unplugged. So much that can happen. Okay. What's a warmer swap? So a warmer swap is an idea I got from a friend where, and actually, so I've been doing this for 11 years, and I have people that seriously have warmers they've had for 11 years. And it's super fun. Everybody, so you invite customers to it. They bring warmers that they maybe want to update. So they've had a warmer for, when you have a lifetime warranted product, it's like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, they have a hard time justifying buying a new one. So they bring a warmer that they want to update, and we do a warmer swap. So like, I do tickets at the door. So it starts at 6:30. First people at the door get the first tickets. So tickets are numbered like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say Fifi comes to the door and she has 2 warmers, and she's the first one there. She gets tickets 1 and 2. So all the warmers go on a table. Then we do our warmer swap, and they get the chance. So if Fifi's number 1, after everybody's warmers are out, she gets to go if she sees one she wants, instead of, she gets to take it instead. And they can choose to not take one at all. And then we donate all of the used warmers to a women's shelter here. Hey, baby. Are you going to bed, or are you just coming to watch me? Can I have a hug? Are you going to come over here? You don't want to be on camera? Please? Just make sense of things. I love you. It's so good of you. See you in the morning. And then I do a, mine is actually the last day of January. It's last night. So I will do a 10% off because February 1st will be 10% off. I'll do 10% off of if they decide they want to purchase a warmer out of the catalog. I'll do 10% off with the February pricing if they decide they don't want to swap one. Anyways, that's what it is. So yes, it's kind of like a white elephant with warmers, but it's also a really great chance to communicate whatever you want to communicate. People will do it at a last chance first glance sometime. A lot of times my customers will just donate warmers, like that they'll just bring them, and instead of swapping, it's fun to swap. Like they like the, like, I'm number one and I get to go first, whatever. It's kind of cool. Anyways, that's a warmer swap. So my customers have been asking to do another one for a long time. If you're full-time, you don't get to take a break till you earn it. Planned, intentional, and with a purpose. So when do you do it? Again, it matters. It depends on what you're working towards. If you're working towards the trip and you need points, you need to know exactly when you're going to earn. Like, I know exactly how many points I have to have this month to earn the trip, and I don't get to take my break until I do it. If you know that it's going to take you part of December and part of January to earn the trip, that's fine. But you just need to know how many points you're getting each month and how you're getting them, right? So that matters. This is all about planning out intentional time. How long really depends on you. It really depends on you. It depends on how long you've been in. It depends on where your heart's at and your soul's at. It depends on if you are burnt out. It depends on if you've never taken a break before. And it depends on your personality. I am the person who, I mean, heck, we're here every Tuesday. So there comes a point when it becomes heavy and weighted to me. Like where I get to like the point where I'm like, I'm not going to I'm nothing else. I have nothing else to give, right? And if you're in that place, it's time for a break. And that's okay. But the break needs to be planned and intentional. The biggest issue with breaks is people do them wrong. They say they're taking a break and they don't pre-plan for it, or they never earned it in the first place, and they don't actually take a break. They're still on social media. They're still seeing all the things everybody else is doing. And I'm not saying you have to stay off social media, but for me, I need to like not see anything Scentsy for a while. And I know that sounds crazy, but what it does in my brain, I'm telling you, it reignites my fire and it lets me think for myself. And when I can clear my head enough as a leader, as a mentor, as a salesperson, I don't ever really say that, but you know what I mean. As somebody who deals with customers, when I can clear my head and I can think for myself about how I want to engage with our product, how I want to engage with my team, how I want to build a team, the kind of people I want on my team, when I have the space to think about that, it is amazing the ideas that I come up with. And that happens every year. And sometimes my ideas are dumb and later I'm like, oh, that was stupid. But you know what I mean? Like, but if I don't ever shut it off, if all I'm ever seeing is Scentsy people, all I'm ever seeing is at what everybody else is doing, that's all I'm thinking about. What's everybody else doing? So you really need to consider if it's right for you and if it's the right time for you and how long it needs to be for you. This is planned, intentional, all of those things. I hope this makes sense. How do you do it? Same thing. You're planning out content for your team. You may want to do some kind of fun challenge for your team while you're gone that you have posted, that you have pre-scheduled, right? So if you have a page on Facebook, a business page, you can pre-schedule posts. If you have a group, you can pre-schedule posts, right? I use an app called Plan. It's a paid app. It's not for everybody, but a lot of my business comes from my personal page as well. And even though I don't ever talk about Scentsy on my personal page, which is very funny, and that's a very intentional thing, I will pre-write a lot of content for that time off. And I use an app called Plan that schedules the posts for Instagram and Facebook. So it sends me a reminder of when they need to be sent, and I have to hit 2 buttons, and then it's done. But I'm not like coming up with new content, if that makes sense. Actually, plan might be free if you just have one account on it. I think it is. It's really for Instagram is what it's made for. So anyways, again, there has to be a plan to come back. I would really encourage you to look at, how am I taking care of my team? How am I taking care of my customers? What is the comeback plan? So what do I already have in plan? If you take a break and you have nothing planned for January, that's a horrible idea. Horrible idea. You need to know exactly what's happening, and it needs to be scheduled and planned before you take your quote unquote break. Okay. What is the comeback plan? When are you coming back? What's going on immediately after that, right? Like, are you launching a new program for your team? Are you, I don't know. Are you doing a new strategy when it comes to meeting new people on social media? You decide, but it is so, so vital that you have a plan to come back. Okay. Okay. I want to take questions because I feel like I was just very honest tonight. And also, this is a controversial topic. Some people would say it's stupid to do that. And I would stand on the other side of the line and say, I think it's necessary. So I really do just want to open up, and I want to hear your questions. Amanda says, do you ever worry your customers, maybe not so much your regulars, will go to someone else for the free shipping, or someone who wants to join won't wait for your break to be over? Those are the little things that would get me. I don't. You know, here's the thing. I could worry about those things, but if I worried about them and they kept me from taking a break, I would just suck it. I wouldn't do this well. So is there a little bit of risk involved? Maybe, but it's never happened to me. And I think when you over communicate, people very much respect it. And if you explain why, this is our full-time job. This is what we do all day, every day. We live and breathe it. And there comes a point when you need to take a step back, when you need your 2 weeks off or whatever, right? Like, I need my vacation. And for us, vacation is often Scentsy. And so even this incentive trip that we're going on, yes, it's free vacation, but everyone's going to be talking about Scentsy. All of my Scentsy friends are going to be there. And not that my Scentsy friends are not rest, but it's going to happen, right? So it's not even like that. That is really not a break for me. And that's just my personality. So I really don't worry about it. I think you have to communicate, over communicate, and then just put the rest into faith that it's going to work out the way it was supposed to work out. If someone can't wait for you to come back to join, and how long are you taking off? That's the other thing. Like, if you're taking a week off and someone can't wait to join a week, and what harm is it going to do if they do join 5 days in? Not a lot. So I think those are just things to think about. It's a good question. Allison, that is awesome that you're trying to get Sensational Start. You absolutely want to get those 2 recruits. This is a great time to join, by the way. Okay, I'm trying to look at y'all's comments. Oh, there's 14 new ones. Why do I not have a VIP page anymore? It was just too much for me to handle. I really want to just focus. I didn't love it. I really hate groups. That's why. It's just that I really hate Facebook groups. I don't even have a team Facebook group anymore. I use an app called Band to communicate with my team. Mostly because it's just too much of a distraction for me. I realize that that's like a self-discipline thing, but it's too much of a distraction for me. And so, it's what I mean, you could call it dumb or smart, whatever you want. My customers get communicated via email and text. They get a text. They all get text from my Maven follow-up. And then I text out on a monthly basis everybody too. So regardless of how long, it didn't work for me. It works for so many people, and VIP pages are fantastic. It just wasn't for me. And you know, it's okay to say that something's not for you. And it just be not for you. It's okay that's not for me, but my focus has been in other places, and that focus has been good. So you just have to figure out what works for you. Okay, Andrea says, how do you handle a new recruit you've never met? She just got a new recruit today, so I feel like I'm going to not take as much of my break as I planned. So honestly, like when I have someone new that signs up for the first time that I don't know, it goes one of two ways. I call or text them to welcome them to the team. They get my welcome email and they get all the things, and they're super excited, right, and engaging, or I never hear from them. Just how it goes. But I just do my very best from the beginning to get to know them as best I can. I have a girl, I think, setting up this week, and I'm still going to take my break, but I'm going to prep her and get her ready. It all happens with prep work. Here's the thing. It's her business too. It's not mine. And I have an incredible team and a ton of resources on my team page that can help her get started and launch as well. So that's just one of those personal choice things. You decide how long it's going to take, right? Brittany, here's the thing. Remember, if you're taking a break, it's not letting your family income down if you've done the pre-work. That's what's so vital about this. This is not a like, I'm taking a break and I'm eating Cheetos and I didn't really do the prep work to take the break. This is, I'm taking a break and I know that there are still things being communicated. There are still things happening, but my brain and my soul is getting a little bit of the time that it needs to recharge for a new year. When do you send out the email about your special? After the shipping cutoff, after Christmas. So my customers get an email every Wednesday. I'm kind of thinking about switching it to Thursday. I'm kind of just playing around, seeing when it's most effective. But right now they get an email every Wednesday. And so all the emails scheduled will be congruent with whatever's going on. So the one they get on the 19th will have my end of year special in it, where I'm hoping to get people's Christmas money. You know what I mean? But that's where I'll do my New Year's special in their goodie bag, or like in their mailer that if they order online. And then probably I'll reiterate on the 26th, or the 26th might just be a, happy Merry Christmas. Hope you had a great time with your family. It might be that kind of email. So, do you have a favorite social media online marketing book? No, honestly, I really think the best place to learn about social media is from podcasts, because it is ever changing, ever quickly. So usually if you're reading in a book about social media, it's outdated. I would push you to a couple of podcasts. One is Build Your Tribe by Chalene Johnson, and her son Brock does a lot of the podcasts about Instagram. They have podcasts about Instagram, about Facebook, but they're always keeping up with what's happening on algorithms and all that jazz. And they have a lot of great information. The other one I would push you towards is Goal Digger, Goal, by Jenna Kutcher. And she's the same way. Really great content about social media, and they're free and they're a great listen. And I would highly recommend that when you're learning about social media, growing content, all of that you're doing it online, because it's ever changing, always fast. Okay. Tamara says, Cincy vacation is not a personal vacation to me and my husband after raising 5 children. Vacation has a totally different meaning for our marriage. Absolutely. I agree. It's the same for us, which is one of the reasons that we take so much time at the end of the year for just our family and just the two of us. And it's different for everybody. Like for some people, it's the only vacation, and then it becomes vacation, but it just depends on where you're at. Edna says, how do I manage a break when I know I need one? I'm on the edge of burnout here, but I also need sponsoring points to earn the incentive trip. Do I just put my faith in building in January? And that's hard. Here's the thing, a crash and burn won't ever be healthy, because the reality is another incentive trip is around the corner, like to earn another one. And the pace that you're setting has to be a maintainable one. I think it's something, I mean, honestly, for me, it's something to pray about and decide, how do I manage this, or how do I take the break that I need and still earn this trip, right? It's such a hard thing, like a decision I can't make for you. But I also think you have to know when you're at your tipping point and when you're at your breaking point. And maybe because you still need sponsoring points, that it means it's not as long as you'd like it to be, but it's a real break, right? It just really depends. Other than Maven, what are some great apps? Maven's all I use for my business. Maven and the Plan app that I use to plan out social media content. That's it. I also like Word. I'm just kidding. I'm going to go back on that statement. I also like WordSwag, Canva. What's the other one you guys all use? Over. There's all kinds of apps. What type of incentives and gifts do I offer? So they're not usually expensive. They're not usually big things. I think the thing we're going to do for the orders that come in from the time I take a break on the 20th until the end of the month are going to be those fun confetti poppers. So they're lightweight. They're pretty easy to ship. And it's like a New Year's fun thing. So probably confetti poppers. And I can't decide if I want to do a scent circle. It kind of depends on, well, I can't decide what I want to do. Then in January, because we will be on beach, I usually do something beach themed as a thank you for ordering the beginning of January. So it's not, I mean, like, it's not anything fancy or special, but it's just an extra nudge. So Leah, you can only market a personal special through private channels of communication, meaning email direct to your customers or text messages. It can't be on a quote unquote public forum, basically. I always communicate mine via text or email, and because I always have. There was a season when I probably used Messenger more than I do now, but I just don't use Messenger. So but it has to, you can't, like, I couldn't go on my public business page and say, this is my special. If you order between now and the end of the month, you can't do that. Okay, I'm going to take a couple more questions. During your break, do you do any planning? I have a hard time not breathing and living my business every day. So I use my break to plan. I use a couple resources, Power Sheets from Laura Casey and their goal setting tools, and Whitney English's Heart Goals. And I usually spend my time when I would be working, praying through and goal setting for the next year, looking at all areas of my life, mothering, being a wife, traveling, business, leadership, all of those things, personal growth, relationships. I look at every area of my life and I start setting goals around each of those areas. I read a ton when I'm on break. Sometimes they're business books, sometimes they're not. I'll probably read both. And then, what's wrong? Your watch broke. Oh, but you know what? We can fix this. No, we can't. Hey, it is past your bedtime. Where's your daddy? Daddy can fix this, I promise. Yeah, Mom. Daddy can fix this. His watch broke. He's upset. Well, his watch broke. That's what I do. Build Your Tribe by Celine Johnson, and what's the other one I said? Goal Digger. GOAL. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks. Look. Amazing. It's fixable. He's gonna be okay. Okay, so this is anticlimactic, but more than anything, I want you to understand that your soul and your heart and your ability to wife and mother and have a life is incredibly important. I do not think this needs to be your life. I think it needs to be a very important part of your life. I think your business can be a blessing to your family, to you, to the people around you, to your team, to your customers. I think it's a huge blessing. But I also think that if you are not wise in how you rest and you're not intentional about the break that you take, that you will get burnt out, that you will feel worn down, and none of that is worth it. And burnout and being worn down is why people walk away. And so I'm giving you permission, when you have earned it, when you have prepared for it, when you have planned it well, to take a breath, take some time. It doesn't need to be the same for everybody. It doesn't need to be the same across the board. It needs to be what you need and what you've earned. So a break is not for everybody. A break is for those of you who are running a legit business, making money, growing, leading, all of the things. You're taking care of your customers. You're taking care of your team. You are continually growing your business. You're setting goals. That is who the break is for. And it is planned. It is intentional. It is prepared for well, and it's well communicated. It is vital that those things happen. If they don't, then yes, it might not be wise for you to take a break. But if you can do those things ahead of time, I think you will see that taking a breath for just a minute, for a week, for 2 weeks, I don't know what it looks like for you. It might be 5 days. It might be 3 days. I don't know. But taking a breath will make a huge difference in the way that you see your business, in the way that you see your leadership, in the way that you see your team, honestly. I think it's important. I think it's vital. I'm going to keep standing on it. Yes, I need all of you to continue to work, obviously. But I also have so much faith in the process of resting that I know that it gives so much more life to businesses, to leaders. It generates ideas. It gets your creative juices flowing. You come back thinking your own thoughts and not somebody else's thoughts. And it makes a world of difference. A world of difference. So I'm asking you to consider it. I'm asking you to decide what would be right for you. I'm asking you to prepare for it, plan, be intentional. You already need to be looking all the way through March at this point anyways. And do what your soul and your heart needs. And then come back on purpose, with purpose, passionate and excited about your business and about 2019. I think it's going to be a fantastic year. I hope you're going to have a great Christmas. And thank you for joining us. Yeah. I know that some of you do not all agree with me still, but it's okay. I'll continue to stand on it. because I have enough faith in that process of resting that I think it's necessary. So love y'all. And I'll talk to you later.